Back in 2022, Kansas would win the NCAA Tournament, taking down the North Carolina Tarheels with a final score of 72-69. Their fourth-year guard, Ochai Agbaji, would be named the NCAA Tournament Most Outstanding Player, and rightfully so. Over the course of the Jayhawks championship run that year, Agbaji would average 15.3 points, 4.6 rebounds, 1.2 steals, and 1.1 blocks per game, while shooting 52.4% on two-pointers and 38.6% on three-pointers. The championship, as well as the Most Outstanding Player award, paired nicely with his Big 12 Player of the Year award and consensus first-team All-American selection. All of this success, and of course the overwhelming talent that Agbaji showcased during his 4 years in college, allowed him to avoid a dangerous phenomenon that four-year college players typically encounter. Front offices do not like drafting 22-year-olds. Agbaji was simply too good of a prospect to pass up regardless of his age. A 6'5" sniper with a 6'10" wingspan that's a proven winner is a pretty impressive value proposition for a front office. So ultimately, Agbaji was drafted with the 14th overall pick by the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he would never play a game with them, instead being sent to Utah as part of the larger Donovan Mitchell trade. While the big draw of that trade package was the fact that the Utah Jazz landed Lauri Markkanen, who ended up becoming an all-star and winning Most Improved Player, Ochai Agbaji is looking like he's got the potential to not just be a gigantic steal in terms of that trade, but also one of the biggest steals of the 2022 draft class. He's already shaping up to be a genuinely elite corner three-point threat. For some perspective, there were 99 players in the NBA that attempted at least 75 corner threes last season. Of those 99 players, only 19 of them shot 45% or higher from the corner. Of those 19 players, only one of them was a rookie, and it was Ochai Agbaji. Given how important the drive and kick game is in the NBA right now, this corner three-point prowess is something that's going to keep Ochai Agbaji in the NBA for a really, really long time. But it's not just the ability to knock down corner threes that makes him an exciting player. There are a lot of players in the NBA that can knock down corner threes. Like I said, there's 18 other players who can hit it at a 45+% clip, and there's a bunch of players that can knock it down at a high enough rate to warrant a roster spot. This efficiency is more just a byproduct of what he's actually doing on the court and how he puts himself into positions to succeed and generate those open looks in the first place. Agbaji is a very good relocator, and he knows when to be in the corner when his teammates are creating advantages. Colin Sexton and Rudy Gay are going to execute this corner pick and roll, and Agbaji is going to cut as if he's working into the paint to get a pass down low, prompting Noel to call out the rotation. With the defense being sold on this misdirection, Agbaji is going to instead fade out to the corner, with Markkanen sinking in to keep Naz Reid at home in the paint out of fear of the dump-off, which opens up an easy pass for Colin Sexton to sling it out to Agbaji in the corner, and he cashes in on the three. He can also play off of corner DHOs to get good looks, even coming off of movement. The Jazz are going to set up for what looks like it'll be a Spain pick and roll, with Damian Jones setting the initial screen for Dunn up top. And in a traditional Spain pick and roll, Agbaji would then screen for Damian Jones to roll to the basket, but instead Agbaji is going to ghost it, which allows for him to seamlessly go right into a DHO with Kessler, and this gets him the space that he needs to knock down the shot. Outside of simply being a flamethrower from the corner, his ability to execute these plays and be in the right places at the right time is a really important aspect of what makes him what he is as a shooter. The Jazz are going to be running what's called motion strong, which is a fancy term that just means Agbaji, who's in the weak side corner, is going to be coming up to the top of the key after receiving 2 pin downs to get the ball. Pay attention to the fact that Nathan Knight isn't going to step up on him after Noel gets caught up in the screening action, so Agbaji is going to be able to get the ball with plenty of time to get into the shot, and he knocks it down. On this play, they're running a veer action where Markkanen sets the screen for Talen Horton-Tucker, and you can see that the second Talen Horton-Tucker starts to take off downhill, this triggers Agbaji to start cutting from the corner up towards Markkanen, who's now going to set a pin down for him, and with the defense collapsed, the kick out to Agbaji leaves him open for the shot. these off-ball shooters who are able to execute actions like this and come off screens, they're not necessarily the backbone of all NBA offenses, but they're really important and they allow a lot of these sets to work in the first place. It isn't just the fact that you can use these players to generate screens, it's also the fact that the threat of their shooting ability allows these things to work at all. What sets Agbaji apart from other just three-point shooters around the league is the fact that Agbaji's a really good athlete, he's very explosive, he can attack off the catch. So what's nice is that if an opposing defense is overplaying the three-point line, Agbaji's able to punish that. He's not like other 3-and-D wings. He can put the ball on the floor and attack the basket whenever he needs to, and he possesses some pretty strong finishing talent. Even if the percentages aren't quite where you'd want them to be right now, he's still probably below average for a guard, but the talent's definitely there, and I think the efficiency is just something that's going to come with reps. This play shows that really well. Kessler is going to set this flare for Agbaji, and Isaiah Joe just can't afford to go under the screen because it would of course leave the opportunity for Agbaji to pull it off of the catch if he has enough space to do so. So with Joe being forced to fight through the screen, Agbaji's going to get the ball and immediately curl around the screen, driving into the paint, and then he uses a nice Euro step to get by Jalen Williams, and he's going to get to the rim and finish. On this baseline out of bounds play, he's going to get this wide flare screen from Kessler to get the ball in the corner, and the defense immediately has to try and prevent the three. Agbaji takes advantage of this, attacking his defender's front foot to get into the paint, but with the defense still playing pretty tight on him, he's going to use this up fake with his right hand, and it sends his defender flying, which gives him space to go right up and get an easy bucket. He attacks off the closeout here, but Kevin Love is going to do a good job of sliding up to provide help and get in front of him. With Cedi Osman right behind him, Agbaji Euro steps around Kevin Love, barely splitting the gap between him and Osman, and he gets the layup to fall. This ability to put the ball on the floor and attack the rim in certain situations opens the door for some complementary playmaking opportunities. Stuff like hitting guys in the dunker spot or finding rollers to the basket is undoubtedly something that he can sprinkle into his game to keep defenses guessing. This is all helped by the fact that, like I said, Agbaji's a very strong athlete, so he's able to get by guys and explode towards the basket pretty much whenever he wants to. The ball handling is kind of the thing that's limiting him right now in terms of how much he's able to create for himself. That part of the game might come more for him as he has more experience, but right now, I'd say it's not quite there yet. Ochai Agbaji played more than 30 minutes in 13 regular season games during the 2022 through 23 NBA season. In those 13 games, he recorded 16.8 points per game on 61.7% true shooting. Of all the rookies from last season with at least 10 games played where they got at least 30 minutes, he was one of only 3 rookies to record at least 16 points per game on 60% true shooting. His skill set isn't necessarily one that's conducive to him being the first option on a championship team, but it's definitely not a skill set that grows on trees, and you also can't teach winning. This guy is a proven winner, and his skill set is one that's incredibly important towards building a championship roster. And keep in mind, he was going up against some pretty great talent from this draft class, guys like Paolo Banchero, Jabari Smith Jr., Jalen Williams, Keegan Murray. Despite being an older rookie, and I don't even feel comfortable calling him an older rookie because he's only 22 years old. The idea that a player is done getting better at 22 years old is ridiculous to me, especially because most of the time people consider the prime of a player's career to be like 26 or 27. So why would we put a cap on his upside because he's 22 or because he spent 4 years in college? That just doesn't make any sense to me. Is he going to turn into some all-star franchise player? Probably not. But then again, only a select few players actually do. But every team in the NBA needs to be able to draft players like Agbaji in order to build a sustainable contender. And if that means drafting a 4-year college player, so be it. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. That's the #1 way to support me and help me continue making content. If you want to support the channel further, you can click the link in the description to become a patron now. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.